Thank you for joining the Friends Eye View spoilers. My name is Shaun. I'm with my buddy Jose.
Hello, hello, hello.
So you picked out this movie,
Yes,
and this movie came out 2018, so not long ago,
correct.
a few years ago, 6 years. Damn, time goes quite fast.
It does. It does.
But it's Hunter Killer is what you
Yes.
decided to go for.
Yep.
So before we start, let's go. What kind of rating would you go with this?
Well, I kind of like the movie too because of the fact that you are Navy. You were formerly in the Navy, so that's
Which we
that's why I liked it for you. For you, I picked it pretty much for you. Anyway, what I did, I gave it I was leaning towards a 7.0, and then it came out to a 6.5. For me, it was a 6.5 because for me, it was still entertaining. You know how I feel? As long as a movie entertains me, I'm going to score it on the higher side than I would on the lower side. And Gerard Butler, I think, is a phenomenal actor. And even if it's a bad script, I'm pretty sure he can make it a great movie.
Yeah, so this movie does a lot of things which we're going to talk about.
Sure.
One of those things is philosophies, the theoretical aspects, right?
Okay. Okay.
I gave it a 7.5. The only 7.5 I was teetering. The reason why is because I looked at my scale. Would I pay for it? Yes, I'd probably pay for this movie.
Sure.
Would I watch it again? Yeah, I'd watch it. Would I search it out? No, absolutely not. so it couldn't get an 8 or 9 from me because of the simple fact I wouldn't search it out and I wouldn't watch it again immediately. Like
Fair enough.
if I was going through Netflix and I saw it, I would absolutely watch it.
Okay.
So that's why I gave it that. So now, before we start going into the things, I want to talk about this theoretical aspect of movies.
Okay.
As you know, we're writing screenplays, and we're going to ultimately one day be the what do you say, the authority on screenplay writing. It's
Yeah, well, true. And there's going to be other people criticizing and critiquing us. Yes.
up there with the best. This movie, it's an action movie.
Yep.
And the problem with it is that it is a military, like Navy type submarine movie, like all the other ones that have ever been out. Like,
Really? Huh.
no, the reason, but I don't blame the writers. I don't. The
Okay.
reason why I do is because you have two theories that are going around. My theory, from what I've ran into, or my theory based on what I've ran into, and my theory based, or my belief system based off what I've ran into. So there are producers out there who clearly have not invested in anything. I mean, they invest in movies,
Okay.
stuff like that, but they haven't invested in like stocks and stuff. And the reason why I say it's because when you invest in stocks, everyone always tells you the performance of the past is not indicative of the performance in the future.
Sure. Okay.
So you have producers out there, and I've ran into some of them, where like when you're doing an action film, they just want it to be action. They want it to be predictable. They want it to be as realistic as possible.
Okay.
But it can't, because reality does not make good entertainment. I know that is because they have reality TV shows. And what do they do in those reality TV shows is they manipulate it. They add in drama, they add in problems, they add in because reality is not, it's not really a move. Like reality cannot be truly dictated
Okay.
in a movie. Like, because you have a 3-act structure, which is the ultimate way to tell a story, especially in this medium of TVs and movies, etc. You know?
Okay.
And it's an escalating thing. So, and that's important because of what we're going to be talking about. So, reality-wise, they got some of the stuff, but the reality is you just wanted to make it believable or understandable, or you know what I'm saying? Like you want to be
more entertaining.
Yeah, believable, understandable, make sense.
Sure.
Or there should be a purpose to it.
Okay.
Which I get it, which is funny because like especially when you're doing screenplays, you'll run into some of those that are hardcore. It's got to be really, and then they'll be kind of dicks about it, and they'll go to your screenplay and just be like shit because it's not real. It's not real. It's like, look, I appreciate everybody in this industry. I respect everybody and appreciate everybody who has taught me things, but none of your movies, I even know what they are. So take that for what it is, you know?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
And so, like, I think in the future, we're going to have to get further away from the whole what's worked for the past 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
Like the 3-act structure will always work. I'm talking about the story within it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like this one, like I said, it's not much different than the one with Denzel Washington. It's not much different for what Hunt for the Red October. I mean, it's kind of the same concept. It's an action movie involving military and subs. You know?
Sure, but still told differently. So
I mean, you're not going to tell the exact one, but there wasn't a significant difference.
Copy.
The genre, because you remember in like the 90s, 2000s, like every single movie that came out was like they kidnapped the president or they kidnapped the leader of the country, and then we're gonna go save them. And that was like 90% of like action movies.
Okay.
And that's where I think people have a problem. Is I think the challenge is you have too many producers that are focused entirely on the plot, and it's like the plot's going to be same. There's always going to be good versus bad, love versus hate, blah blah, whatever the themes is. There's always going to be the plot.
Sure.
It's the journey. The movie is the journey, because the person watching the movie, they don't know what the plot is. They don't care about the plot. They're going to find out the plot by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
What they care about is that journey and story being told
to keep them excited and entertained. And yeah, sure.
And so, like I said, I just wanted to go into that theoretical because, like I said, and you're starting to see a shift in the market where like people are creating stuff that used to be, that was good back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're keeping on creating, like Marvel, in all intents and purposes, loses money now with the exception of a couple of movies.
Wow.
You look at Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars is losing money because people want new stories. They want new content. They want new things. So I know I digress from a movie review, but I just wanted to put this stuff out there before we start going through this because I'm going to mention some things that I wanted to.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, you had your protagonist, which was Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
The antagonist was their version of the Ministry of Defense.
Yes.
What was funny is I thought he was like a general. I don't know what he was, like a general, admiral, whatever he was. He was
at first, I thought the same. Yes,
indeed. A dude in a green suit. And what is the problem? The problem is a 1990s action movie problem. The classic rescue the Russian president and prevent a catastrophic war.
I mean, well, you still have, I'm pretty sure, in our government as well as Russia's, you still have those rogue people that hate us as much as we hate them.
No, of course, because you know and I know in the military, even in countries, the only people who care about fighting are people in power.
Exactly.
None of us give a shit about fighting. We could all go to Russia right now. You could put Russia and the United States together. They would drink, have fun, have barbecues, life.
Exactly.
The only people who want us fucking fighting each other is those bastards.
Sure.
Okay. But this was the problem, you know? This was the This was the problem. They had the inciting event where he takes over the USS Arkansas.
Yeah.
Which was unrealistic because there was no chain of command changing. I saw nobody in their whites or their blues doing a change of command. So I call bullshit on the realism.
Gotcha.
Just walks in. Hey, I'm the captain speaking.
Yeah.
Which isn't realistic. What really happens is the boatswain blows out some goddamn whistles.
Where?
No, look.
They wanted him to get underway as quickly as possible, so they didn't really have the time for
No. I get it. I'm making fun of the people who say it's got to be realistic.
Gotcha.
Because realism isn't going to make the movie interesting, I promise.
Sure.
In a realistic situation, this is what would happen. That dude, the boatswain would have blown the fucking whistle, and then he'd be like, hey, this is the captain speaking, blah, 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 But and none of the captains would have said the shit that he said.
Well, he wasn't an Annapolis man, though.
No, you're missing the point. I had captains who worked and Annapolis people. Okay,
really? Wow. Okay.
And this is a shout out if he fucking ever listens to this. But Admiral motherfucking Kelly, the coolest 4-star admiral in the entire goddamn Navy.
Wow, nice.
No, because what they do is they would never talk like that, except for Admiral Kelly. He would talk like that shit. He would talk exactly like Gerard Butler.
But see, so there you go. So there is a little bit of realism.
That's one. That's one. How many captains and admirals there are? That's one.
Yeah, but it happens.
Okay.
It's not a far stretch.
One. You're probably one of those people that argues the lowest percentage in a debate. It's like, no, you got to talk about the majority, okay?
True. It is true. But for me, it's more, can it happen?
Look, I'm giving you...
Is it possible? Then yes, okay, we're good.
No, I'm giving you a hard time. But yeah,
I know, as always.
but for entertainment purposes, and
sure.
Because the reality of it all is, it's boring as fuck. The reality is the people listening to it are like, fuck, what does he want? That's what we're saying, realistically.
Gotcha.
We're just listening for some bullshit. Now, what's funny is what made me laugh was immediately, and something, it just does happen. We got to go underway because I was after he's like, we got to go underway. Oh, where are they at? How many bars are here? And I'm like, damn, that was us in Guam. We drank that entire island under.
Wow.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. It's they would go find you. You have to at least with the Navy, you had to literally tell them where you were going to be.
Yeah.
And just in case.
Yeah, shit hits the fan, of course.
And they have to call you and pull you in,
Yeah, but I like that scene.
That was very realistic to me, cause
man.
Yeah, they do that shit.
Well, I like the fact that the XO was like, how can we do that? How many bars? 2. Well, you take half and I'll take half. And then I was like, oh, okay.
That's where we're going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
What I really like, though, is after that, it starts getting into a little bit more unrealistic things.
Okay.
And not really their fault. Okay. I know about subs, I know about torpedoes, which I will not mention for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Any information that is...
Yes.
But I will mention that for not really having access to the secret information, they did an extremely good job of trying to portray how a sub moves in the water, how torpedoes move, some of the counterbalances. Like I said, we don't talk about those things, of course. So, I saw it kind of unrealistic that the sub was underneath that little piece of ice.
Yeah. Camped out there.
I'm like, subs are big, okay? Now they're not huge.
Yeah.
They're still pretty big. And based on how they're shaped and the rudders, they can turn on a dime and different things. But to just stop underneath and then launch torpedoes from a stationary underneath the, I'm sure it can be done. It's not a realistic movement that people do.
Gotcha.
But it was an interesting concept. And then the challenge that I had was, and I get the challenge comes from, because like I said, it has to escalate, right? The movie has to escalate.
Of course.
Because in Act 3, which we will talk about, there was huge escalation in Act 3.
Yep.
In real life, that should be escalated on Act 1. You think you're going to shoot down a fucking... Hey, if you think for 1 second that a sub could potentially be shot in the Arctic, and we ain't deploying a goddamn carrier group up there to the... You know what I'm saying?
But we did. As soon as they found out that it was down, they did.
No, they didn't send anything to Act 3.
Okay.
They ramped up the war in Act 3. But I'm saying in reality.
Yes.
I'm talking, and this is why realism in movies don't work.
Yes. I got you.
Like I said, because in reality, having served, that sub wouldn't have been by himself anyway.
Yeah, true.
Because subs go with battle groups.
Mm-hmm.
And so there would be somebody there. And if we thought that a sub went down for any reason, we're not going to send a sub to inspect it. We will. But they're also coming with mom and dad, which is 2 aircraft carriers, a couple of admirals, and an entire fleet.
There you go. Gotcha.
Go ahead and investigate
what happened.
What happened. Especially if speculated that the Russians were involved. Which I think is funny because, like, we used to do battle stations, and you hear it in movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Battle stations, battles, which just means I'm ready to defend the ship.
Sure.
It means fires, leaks, guns, whatever, however we're going to defend this thing.
Yep.
And it was funny because, like, it's actually kind of messed up, actually, because this, without going on a philosophical debate on this one, but just the point out is that in our practice scenarios,
okay,
we always we did one of 2 things.
Okay.
Made up an enemy.
Okay.
They gave them some bullshit name.
Okay.
Bullshit location.
Mm-hmm.
Usually their country is off the coast of the United States.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
And then, or we used Russia as our example.
Okay.
Which was kind of fucked up because if you're not paying attention, because we have a tendency to not pay attention sometimes.
Of course.
You're
just waking up.
Reporters, the Russian sub on the port side. And if you're not paying attention, you might motherfucking think that we have a Russian on the port side.
Yeah.
Which sometimes we do, in fact, have a Russian sub on the port side.
Gotcha.
It does happen.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just like, it was just funny to me that they picked the Russians to do this,
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the fight between the subs, I thought was interesting, especially the way that they had the torpedoes move. Because in most movies, the torpedoes are just straight shooting.
Sure, of course. I didn't know that they had the capability of turning them. Now, I'm hoping that's
I'm neither confirming or denying, but I said it was realistic, okay?
Sure, there you go. Well, I'm pretty sure by now, I'm sure we've advanced quite a bit. So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I won't dig any deeper into that one because, like I said, all that information, and I'm not trying to get on and end up.
Yeah, me either.
Because, I mean, like, even studying that crap, I needed a secret clearance. So it's like, Yeah, I'm not, pretty high up there.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was realistic looking,
Nice.
I was kind of proud at it. I was like, yeah.
What I wanted to know was the sub hitting the ground like that. Is that realistic or is that Hollywood?
Okay, so realistically, things can go. I mean, ships do run aground.
Of course, yeah.
Typically speaking, when a ship runs aground, somebody gets fired.
Of course.
Matter of fact, there were a couple of CEOs, at least while I was in, who did get fired for that said reason.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but I think in the insinuating circumstance that he was in,
yeah,
navigating, and that's a real life thing too. Like, I don't know how it is over by Russia.
Sure.
But I know in certain areas of the world, there are mines in the water.
Of course.
Have what's called mine sweepers.
Sure.
Their goal and purpose in life is to sweep for these bastards.
Yeah.
That have been here since basically World War II, because Germany and them were like just dropping.
Throwing them out there. Yeah. Okay.
So him navigating that, like, it was kind of unique, that whole situation, because he used the captain, the Russian, because he had a Russian captain there.
Mm-hmm.
He used him as a pilot, which which was funny because we use pilots.
Yeah.
Typically we use pilots. And what a pilot is a civilian.
Okay.
Comes on board in certain circumstances.
Okay.
You'll see them come on board when a ship is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly when a ship is going out.
Mm-hmm.
You really see them when you are going into the straits.
Okay.
So basically, you're going through the straits between, Iraq and Egypt.
Gotcha.
And it takes 24 hours.
Okay.
And you go very fucking slow.
Of course.
And you have monkey watch and a whole bunch of other watches.
Yeah.
It's a long fucking day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. The safety of that vessel comes first. So, okay.
And so you have a pilot who, and the reason for that is because these civilians know this area.
Sure.
They know this. They know the canals. They know everything about it. I've actually seen videos of them boarding civilian ships even. The way they do that is actually very interesting. Is they say, we flew you on.
Yeah. Okay.
Carrier.
Of course.
I flew you in on.
Yeah.
Most ships
don't have that option. Yeah.
I guess if you're a sub, you don't really have that option. But if you're a surface ship, for the most part, you can have a helo come in.
Mm-hmm.
But like what they do is like they go beside the ship,
mm-hmm.
and then the dude just jumps on. You're in the open ocean trying to jump on the ladder of a ship so you can climb the side of it.
Wow.
And so what's funny is that he was using that captain as the pilot to navigate.
Yeah, through that own mind. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the least he could do. They did save his life. They could have let him drown.
No, look. I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, oh shit, he's using them as a pilot.
Gotcha.
You had your midpoint. The Russians captured the president, Alexander Dachenko.
Yeah.
Some of the things that happened in the movie like I said, the reason why realism, like, you want to get as realistic as you can, but you also got to understand that it's also about telling a great story.
Yeah. Okay.
It's about making it believable or understandable, or just at least make sense.
Okay.
You had a lot of mutiny on that ship.
Oh, most definitely. I was going to talk to you about that as well.
That XO would have been court-martialed.
Yeah, he probably would have been in the. Don't you guys have a stockade there?
Yeah, we have bricks.
Yeah.
Look, because like there's a lot of mutiny going on in that.
Yeah. He was second guessing the commander quite a bit. I was like, what?
Which in reality,
Yeah.
Makes for good movies,
Sure.
but you will find yourself in hot water
Of course.
if you do it, you know?
Of course. Yeah.
I liked the battle stations, realism and different things. They weren't really dressed for battle stations though. That was the funny part. Because they're just like battle stations. And you're like, where's your fucking flash gear? Everybody who has battle stations has flash gears and gas masks and shit.
Really? I thought the fire team were dressed for their battle stations. Those are the only ones.
Oh no. In real life naval,
yeah,
everybody's dressed like that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Everybody. Why? Because everybody's responsible for the motherfucking ship.
Yeah.
So if the ship is on fire,
everybody has
I've been to fire. I'm not even a fireman. Like that's my job.
Yeah.
But I've been to fire school and I fought a lot of fires.
Wow.
In the time that I served, even fake fires. Like, because usually you train in a school and what they do is they set that bitch on fire. Like they have fire and you go in that shit.
Try to put it out.
You're fighting fires. Like fires. Not even accounting the ones that happen underway, which
exactly
happen.
Oh wow! See, and of course, just talking to you, I figure I would talk to you first before I adjusted my score. That's why I said between 6.5 and 7.0. But now talking to you, you've alleviated some of my concerns, so I will give the movie a 7.0.
Oh, look at you! I'm not trying to convince you to up the score.
No. Of course not. I wanted to talk to you first since you were in the Navy, and I was like, oh, I got
things that I liked about it. Things I liked about it. I thought the Russian guy firing in that walkway, on the pier.
Oh yeah.
It kind of didn't belong there.
Really? I thought that that
No. I get why they did it. They did it to add action to the scene.
Yeah.
But they do open, shoots off his machine gun, then doesn't even go investigate?
Yeah. Well, because there was nothing and they didn't yell. So it saved him a trip from walking up the stairs. That's what I thought it as.
No.
I was like, yeah, that's the quickest way to make sure no one's up there and then just go ahead and do the other sectors. So that's how I thought of it.
Okay. I had a problem with that.
Work smarter, not harder. So he just shot up there. No one yelled. Because usually a normal person that's not a SEAL team member would probably, yell out in agony. But when your life and your team's lives dependent on it, I'm pretty sure you learn to keep your mouth shut, no matter the amount of pain that you're undergoing at the time.
Nevertheless, I think they should have investigated. Okay, I think the Russian guys should have investigated. Obviously. For the movie standpoint, the movie is based around a sub,
Uh-huh.
And a real life situation, one sub would not go to save a leader of a country. If you needed to rescue the leader of a country, even the Russian leader, because of the mutiny that was happening in Russia at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You would obviously send the entire fucking fleet, maybe the Marines, maybe the Army, maybe multiple SEAL teams. You wouldn't send one sub in there. But I understand for the sake of the story, for cost and different things.
Sure.
Because when you're writing a screenplay, you want to minimize the amount of locations, but you want to have enough locations to tell a good story.
Of course.
Because each location and each ship and each thing costs money. It costs lots of money even.
Yeah.
Because believe me, Uncle Sam wants his money for letting you borrow his ships. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I'm pretty sure they got their money's worth.
Of course. They charge millions of dollars to do that.
Of course.
What I thought also was cool is the continental waters aspect of things.
Okay.
In real life, nobody goes into anybody's continental waters at all.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are. Because if you do, it's assumed as an act of war and will be,
of course,
systems, usually multiple fleets.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously for the sake of the story and how they were doing. I liked the ending, how they did it, because I didn't actually see that ending coming.
Mm-hmm. I like the integration of the SEAL team as well.
See, I thought the SEAL team was good. At first, I didn't know what their purpose was.
Yeah.
And then later on, I realized their purpose really was information and extraction, which is a lot of times what SEALs are for.
Yeah.
Information and extraction amongst...
It was information at first that turned to extraction afterwards.
Yeah, but I mean, that's probably typical for a real SEAL.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Put on, maybe fight a small war. If you that come on that list of things you got to do while you're out there,
Exactly.
So I liked how they integrated it, because it said the other sub movies didn't have anything like that. It was just focused on the sub. But like I said, I liked the ending, because the ending showed the true thing, that you and I, we don't really have no problems with each other, whether it be Russian or American.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we could all get along pretty well. Our problem is obviously the ones running the show.
Yeah.
And that's who's the problem even here. Because you see like the admiral on the American side, he's just kind of like, fuck them.
Yeah.
All out war. Let's do it. Like, he's a warmonger.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have followed his instructions, everybody would have died. War would have started.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Gerard Butler did not follow that order, is how they even survived this thing with no war. And then the Russian ship actually took out, which I thought was kind of cool, shooting tomahawks at the at the corrupt Russian dude's building, blowing it up.
Yep.
Only because you saw that they have respect for them by not attacking them.
Exactly.
Also not killing their comrades.
Yeah.
And
they also didn't return fire.
Exactly.
It was the Russian ship that actually saved them at the end, which is
yeah, which like I said, was kind of a plot twist. I like that ending, because I like endings because in movies, the problem is in movies, especially when you're writing them, is that the protagonist always has to win. They have to win. It's just, there's no way around it. I know there's people out there that'd be like, well, John Wayne did a movie where he didn't win. And you're like, 1% of movies.
Of course.
1% of movies, the protagonist doesn't win. And other than that one, and no, I pick on that one just because that's what my father said.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, no other movie that has ever had the protagonist lose, do either of us know what the hell it is?
Sure.
The reason why? Because it didn't make any money. It was not important enough. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You're not going to make any money doing that. So the protagonist has to win.
Yeah.
We feel hopeful because we're like, look, we may not go through as much hell as that character did, or maybe our life is shittier than the character's life.
Okay.
Well, because that character was successful and rose above it, I can feel a little bit of hope for 10 minutes of my life.
Sure.
I achieve and be above the hell that I'm in,
Yeah. And maybe it can turn for me soon as well. Yeah. You're right.
So the protagonist has to win. It's just, I like people playing with, surprising me with how do they win.
Yeah.
And that was
I was glad we got surprised.
Pleasant surprise.
Nice.
Because that's some shit that I would write.
Nice.
Where it just has that twist.
Yeah.
Like I didn't fucking see it. I see that.
Yeah. So
yeah, with that being said, like I said, solid 7.5.
I will still go with my 7.0. So
what made you increase it? Because like I said, my goal is not...
Well, no. It was because I had questions and because I knew you were former Navy, you answered my questions. I wanted to know, is that possible? And, there's a couple of questions that you said or you spoke about that I had questions on, and you said, yeah, I can see that happening, or without confirming or denying, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was pretty realistic. And then so that's why I changed my score. I would never change my score without having those questions answered first. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, yeah.
So for me, it's a hells to the yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a decent movie. Like, if it's on, you should absolutely watch it.
Yeah.
Especially if you like action movies or you like military movies or ship movies, it's a movie that you would like. Like I said, it's not going to get an 8 and it's not going to get a 9. I mean, we went over 9s. It takes a lot for me to give you an 8 or 9. Like, it has to be.
Did you go through the credits and everything at the same time? Did you go all the way to the end?
Oh, no, I skipped that.
Okay. So because I always go to the end, but during the movie, they did say for, how they do if someone dies or something and they, pay homage to that person.
See?
So the actual Russian captain, who was played by Michael, I think it's Nicknist, if I say it correctly. He passed away of lung cancer at the age of 57 in 2017, so he didn't even see the movie when it came out.
Did they barely see him?
I do not know, but I do hope he rests in peace. It was another guy.
Bringing it up, I would ask you, unless it's a barrel of sea, we don't need to talk about it.
Well, boy, you are going straight to hacking it.
Look, man, I've shared enough memes.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, look.
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was sad that he didn't get a chance to see it, and he played a phenomenal role. I like his role.
He did really good. Look, I already know I'm going to hell there. Just I have laughed at a lot of things I'm not supposed to laugh at, which apparently means I'm going there. And it's a bigger highway to hell, and it's only a staircase to heaven. So where the most traffic is, it is what it is.
You're picking the movie for this week, right? Or for next week, I should say.
I am. I will shoot that over to you once I figure out what it is.
All right. So yes. So just to recap, for me, it's the hells to the yeah. I would definitely recommend watching Hunter Killer.
Because I'm white, it was just yes, you should definitely watch it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
All right, buddy.
All right. Till next week. Have a good one. We'll talk soon.